What is up? My name is Cooper Neal, and that is Jarrett Bennett, and we love drafts. Jarrett, how you doing today?
I'm trying my best. Just trying to do
Yeah, you
better.
are. Yeah, I don't have the Spider-Man mug today, but
Yeah,
I do love the Spider-Man reference. Sorry, it's in the
it's
dishwasher.
appropriate every day.
It is.
Motto. Today we're going to be going over a few different guys. We're going to be talking about Dybantsa and his performances, especially against Clemson. We're going to be talking about the Texas Tech Arkansas game, Christian Anderson in particular. We're going to be going over our opinion on Nate Ament at Tennessee. That could get a little spicy. We're talking about Hannes Steinbach. We're trying to contain Cooper's excitement on him. We'll be going over, and finally we'll be going over Iowa State, that whole team, and how, what prospects are on that team and the future for them. And then we're going to be potentially going over some Heisman finalists and how they might adjust to the NFL.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, you can honestly even include in the Texas Tech conversation that whole team too, because I feel like that team has also got some players on it. I don't know necessarily NBA players, but they definitely have a solid college basketball team.
Yeah, they do.
But yeah, Dybantsa. Whoa. I think both you and I were sitting here waiting for this type of a game because we were both kind of like, he's playing a lot off ball. Don't even know if he's really the best player right now on his team. When are we going to see that wow game? And it came. Yeah. And
that was staggering. I mean, Clemson went on a 21-0 run to end the first half to go up 21. And it's like, geez.
Yeah.
BYU does not look great. They're finally playing someone real, and they're getting curb stomped out there. And Clemson's not that great of a team really this year. They're really not. This year. I don't think they'll be in the tournament. And it's like, all right, Dybantsa had like 6 points at half. Like, all right, he's still deferring to the veteran players. And I guess at some point at halftime, he just decided, all right, I'm just gonna take over this game. The second half was all Dybantsa. It was. As BYU just came storming back, it was Dybantsa, both ends of the floor, both scoring the ball, creating for others. Some of those passes, lobs to Kebakeda, were just, those were on the money. At one point, when they took the lead eventually, they had scored 40 points in the half. 34 of those had been scored or assisted by A.J. Dybantsa. That is unreal impact on the floor. This was the game, to me, that got him now. I put him up there with Boozer now, of like, all right, these guys have shown they're at that next level of player. We're still looking to see that from Peterson, but man, Dybantsa.
Yeah, sheesh. I mean, no, it was absurd because I mean, I wasn't even watching the game live because I kind of forgot it was happening. But also, like, I don't even remember what Lee and I were doing. I think we were watching a Christmas movie. Because 9 out of 10, I get kicked off the TV if she's home during a basketball game if I don't take it quick. But no, you were blowing up my phone, and I keep seeing you text Butler. Or isn't that his name? The former Baylor guy?
Rob Wright.
No, I was thinking Rob Butler. Yeah, and I'm like, is he watching a Baylor game? I was like, I don't know what he's doing. I was like, I'm just gonna let it go. And then I realized that both of them were on that BYU team, and I was like, oh, this game's been elite. I'm getting a full like 45 in a row about how awesome this game is right now. And so I went back and watched the condensed game, and whoa, because like you said, Clemson's not that great. And so we were both kind of like, Dybantsa should have a good day. Like we should finally see it. And I think our biggest complaint so far had been he's really playing more off ball. He's not ever really not necessarily engaged. It just didn't look like he was
not asserting
the guy.
Himself on the game. Yeah, he wasn't asserting himself as much as we want to see it be. He makes a couple of plays in a row, and then he's kind of just away from the play. The rest. This was constant. Every play, Dybantsa's involved. He's getting to make an impact defensively. In transition, still, he's unreal in transition. His ability to finish, his ability to change speeds is insane. Like stopping, getting to that post and to that fadeaway.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Like I just remember texting you. I was like, his ability to speed up into a post down move, then slow it back down, and then immediate speed spin. And I mean, the poor defender is jumping all over the place. They're like, I don't know what he's doing anymore. And I was like, same. I don't know how this is real. I don't know how this is possible. Like it truly looked like a video game. Someone playing on rookie difficulty is what it looked like. Like he could do no wrong in that second half. From scoring, like you said, the passing. I texted you. I was like, I didn't know he was this good of a passer. Like I knew he was skilled, like, and could handle the ball pretty well and get to where he wanted to go because he's athletic enough to do it. And I knew he could shoot. Like I knew that was all there. The passing blew me away. The defense, I knew based on athletics sake. Like he could probably defend somebody and stay in front of him. But I mean, you saw everything you wanted to see. Like you truly saw like, okay, yeah, no, he's a top 3 pick. Like
and he followed it up. They played some no name either last night or 2 nights ago, and as of recording, and Dybantsa had 8 assists in that one. Like he had like 28, 9, and 8, something like that. We're like, all right, this has now become his team officially now, and that's what we're looking to see with these top 3 guys. Like if you're going to be a top 3 guy in this draft, is game breaking potential. We saw that with Boozer early. We hadn't seen it with Dybantsa. Now we've seen it with Dybantsa. He broke the game.
Yeah. Well, and I hope that this
answer.
Yeah, no, they did it, and I sincerely hope as they're about to get into Big 12 play, because Big 12 is legit. Like there are some teams at Big 12 that you're going to have to go through. I hope that this kind of unleashes the offense through him. Because if we can keep seeing him be the ball touches his hands at least every time down the floor offensively, because then we can have the real conversation of like, all right, who are you taking one? Because like it might just be what type of position do you need, or are you just taking the best player on the board?
Yeah.
Because I still feel like we're in that world right now where it's kind of hard to pass up on Boozer just because of how steady he is. And I think the argument's going to be right now, are you going to be betting more on the floor or are you betting on the ceiling? Because I think as far as floor is concerned, I think Cam Boozer has the highest floor. I don't necessarily think he has as an elite of a ceiling as a Peterson or Dybantsa right now, but his floor is going to be the easiest he's going to produce day one.
You know he's going to produce. I think it will depend on the team who's drafting. If they have that guy, I would have some doubts of Boozer being that guy on a championship team. But like, there's a real world where the Thunder have the number 1 pick this year. If I'm them, Boozer's the pick.
Boozer makes sense.
Boozer makes sense. That fits really well next to Holmgren. You're potentially losing Hartenstein in free agency after a year. So that's a team that would take Boozer first. To me, I look at Dybantsa. There was a stat I saw recently. It was comparing his production to wings of the past, top wings of the past, like Wiggins, like Tatum, and it was going through just their 2-point field goal percentage and the percentage of those that were assisted on them. Dybantsa has the highest 2-point percentage, 72%, and only 22% of those are assisted. Everyone else that was that's the highest. And everyone that was close was like 50% assisted. Lowest assist rate, highest production. That's like, I think the best comparison we can make is Tatum right now, as far as just a guy who gets it done, slashing to the rim like that at a high level. But I think he's more athletic than Tatum. I think he finishes a little bit better than Tatum did at that age. The shooting has to get there. He is shooting a decent percentage, but he doesn't shoot from the perimeter all that much. It's like 2 3-point attempts a game, something like that. It's not crazy.
Well, and I think with the shot specifically, like as you see competition maybe rise, you're going to see teams start, like for an Iowa State, for instance, they're such a good defensive team, such a good on-ball defensive team. They're going to force you to do the thing you don't want to do. So I feel like as he's going to start playing some of these real teams, and Sorry to all the teams that BYU has played. I'm not calling you not a real team. I'm just saying, once you get to teams that are going to be like, all right, this dude's a slasher. Let's treat him like such. Let's force him to shoot. And you're going to start seeing them kind of boxing off the post and the paint. So I feel like as we see competition rise, we might see an increase a little bit in those 3-point shots. And honestly, if he can just be 33 to 36% 3-point shooter.
And I want to correct myself. It was field goal percentage on drives is what it was. Yeah. But we saw that at the end of the Clemson game. Like it was, I think, a 1-point game. BYU needed a bucket. They're running the clock down. They're just going to ISO Dybantsa. Him just coming around that corner and dunking on the whole team. Like, dude, I was out of my seat. I don't get riled up easily during a basketball game. That was out of my seat. Just screaming nonsense.
That dunk was like if Ja had ever completed the dunks on Kevin Love, because he's got 2 dunks on Kevin Love now, both misses. That if he did complete them, career-ending dunks.
Yeah,
I don't think he is. I'm gonna be honest. Ja is gonna go down in history as the biggest almost dunker. Like because he does have some incredible finishes. Like there are Poor Pirtle is his favorite player to dunk on, but like when it comes to poor Kevin Love, he wants to dunk on Kevin Love really bad. Like I want to know what Kevin Love has said to Ja at some point in his career that has forced Ja to see red every time he plays Kevin Love.
I think it's just
because he doesn't dunk like that anymore.
Yeah, he knows Kevin Love will just try to take a charge, And I don't think he likes that. To me, Ja sees that as him trying to undercut him, and I'm going to jump over him. He knows Love isn't going to meet him at the rim, which means here's a chance to dunk on somebody.
But I think that's the thing.
Has Love ever blocked somebody at the rim in his career?
Probably. You have to think of those Timberwolves, Kevin Love.
I just can't imagine it. Like, it's
I don't think necessarily if somebody was coming to dunk.
At the rim.
Well, Zebo couldn't jump. That dude's... No, not anymore. I didn't even know he was still playing. I literally texted you. I was like, since when is Kevin Love still playing?
That was a surprise seeing Kevin Love out there for the Jazz.
He had 20 on us. Sorry.
Yeah.
This wasn't... I didn't mean to send this into a Grizzlies ramble. But I think that is the thing with Dybantsa. I'm talking about him in the same conversation as one of the most athletic guards we've seen in the NBA in Ja Morant. Because he jumps and moves the same way. Probably even, if this is possible, faster.
The biggest disservice to Dybantsa is that he's listed as a wing.
Yeah.
I don't view him as a wing. He
looks
him
like
as
a guard. Yeah.
I think a point guard in the NBA.
Because his handling's fine. I think his handling's
good. And now we're seeing the playmaking.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, if they can just complete offense through him, man.
Yeah.
Man, is it going to be special? Because I also think we're just going to get to see so much more. Like, he could solidify himself as number one if they start just pure point guarding him.
Yeah. Yeah, they really might. That's like no disrespect to Richie Saunders and a lot of disrespect to Rob Wright, but they're not, they're good players.
They're not moving the needle.
But they're not moving the needle when it comes down to late in the season as far as what's BYU need to do to potentially win a championship this year, which I think they could do. I don't put them up at the top, my top teams, but
I think I could see them being a Sweet 16 team. I don't know if they can.
They're going to need Dybantsa to take over. It's going to have to be like Oklahoma State with Cade Cunningham, I feel like, of just like, this guy's going to take over games, and there's going to be nothing you can do about it.
And then you need their center who freaking bent the whole rim.
That dude's
they need
strong.
him to keep being awesome.
I'm curious about him. I think I looked him up. He's like 6'7", 250 or something like that. Like, he's not that big, and that's a grown man. He was. I mean,
when you have to stop the game because you bent the rim.
They had to stop the game because he bent the entire. It wasn't the rim. The entire basket was tilted. Like, sheesh. And he almost did it a couple more times on those lobs from Dybantsa, where he's just jumping up and dunking on the entire team.
He is vicious with his dunks. There is not a kind bone in his body when it comes to dunking.
I don't think we're going to see him ever at the next level, but I'll remember him as a college player.
No.
For sure.
He looks like that offensive lineman that you never have to doubt if they're not going to pancake somebody. Like, that's just what he gives off the vibe of. Like, he looks like that dude that you're like, no, don't mess with him in the middle of a game.
Because also, he's jacked, but he also looks like he's 34 years old. He is an old-looking dude, and it's like, there's a grown-ass man.
Naturally. As most college basketball players do now.
He's the one, I'll perk up when I see him playing in Europe, when I'm watching Real Madrid play or something, and he's the center for Juventud Badalona or something. And he's just, he's making an impact. That was fun. I watched a EuroLeague game, and I watched Wade Baldwin play against, who else did I text you about? Taylor Horton-Tucker going crazy.
Yeah, because that was my text.
That was a fun game.
That was me getting the, didn't expect to get a Taylor Horton-Tucker text in the year of 2025.
Yeah. Dude was going off. I didn't know. He ripped that game away from Monaco.
I don't even remember how you spell Taylor Horton-Tucker.
Talen.
I can't find it.
You spell it Goat, apparently, in EuroLeague.
No, you don't. I promise. Wade Baldwin was also a blast from the past. Shout out to
I was like, Wade Baldwin, and he's still a D-bag. That's fun.
Doesn't shock me. Is Wayne Selden playing EuroLeague?
I haven't seen Wayne Selden. I think he's playing in like Russia or something like that.
Shout out to so many Grizzlies picks that were we had some run there of just abysmal drafting. Minus Javon Carter. Love Javon Carter. We'll always love Javon Carter. Sadly, he just didn't make it happen with us.
You know who else was on that team for that? With ball, it was Fenerbahce. That's who it was. They also had Grizzlies pick Tarik Baberovic.
Yeah, that's the other guy you were texting us about.
And Armando Bacot, man in the center for them.
Shout out Bacot.
This is hey, if you're a Grizzlies fan, you should be rooting for Fenerbahce this year for the EuroLeague. You got Wade Baldwin, Armando Bacot, and Tarik Baberovic on that team. Like, that's what a fun team.
Yeah, that is a crazy team for EuroLeague. I could have sworn was Bacot. Well, if you're talking just you know what I mean. Was Bacot Was he on the hustle last year?
Yeah, he was on the hustle
Wasn't
last year.
Bacot on the hustle last year? So he just gave up on the G League altogether?
He saw the writing on the wall, which was he's not going to be an NBA player. Go to Europe. Smart move. I mean, he was like 34 years old. Played in North Carolina for 22 years, so, you know.
Along with, again, I swear, the amount of times that I think you and I have said, I feel like they've been playing for 10 years. And not just football anymore. We need this COVID and all that stuff to get behind us to where we can have guys playing 4 years again.
Well, COVID years are supposed to be behind us now.
Supposed to be.
It's supposed to be. The problem is because of the leeway they gave during COVID for guys of like other different things, like we saw with Pavia and like his JUCO years.
And we're about to see with Trinidad.
We'll hand out extra years of eligibility like candy. Yeah, like Trinidad, he'll be back. They just give it out like, yeah, sure, why not? Because we don't want to deal with a lawsuit or anything like that. And there's no hard line as far as stopping guys from continuing college basketball. Who was the guy who played for Memphis basketball, was looking for like a 7th year of eligibility?
DeAndre Williams.
Yes, DeAndre Williams. Dude was just trying to make a career playing college basketball.
He was literally older than half of the NBA. Actually, no, wasn't it the stat that they said he was older than everybody on the Grizzlies but one player?
Yeah, he was 26 or 27 years old, like his last year at Memphis.
I think he was 27.
Yeah, I think he was 27.
Yeah.
He was and he was awesome. And you're like, of course he's awesome. He's 27 years old playing against kids.
You're literally treating this like rec basketball.
You know, it's like the Seinfeld Kramer duo in a karate class and beating up kids. Become the master of the dojo. It's not fair.
Shout out DeAndre Williams. I didn't know we were going to get that far into the weeds. But yeah, no, righting the ship a little bit. Speaking of, you know, we're going to get back to some younger guys. Because, I mean, heck, we can go through probably every college basketball roster, and there's 2 or 3 guys that are older than you and me at minimum. But another game this week that I think I was blown away by it. Going back and watching it, just the level of play, the talent, and that's that Texas Tech and Arkansas game. Arkansas did come back and win this game, but that game was crazy offense. Don't go watch that game if you're a defensive guy and you really care to watch some incredible defense, because I think on top of my head I can only remember one play where I was like, oh, awesome defense, and it was when JT Toppin literally blocked Billy Richmond 3 straight times on the same play, and it was impressive. Now granted, he blocked him 3 times, but they lost, so it doesn't really matter. But Christian Anderson is a guy that you text me about him, but I'm already in love. It did not take long for me to be like, yeah, I like him. He is steady and smooth. And I feel like every time people use those words, that's like a knock. That's like them saying they're just really consistent. Yeah. No. As a point guard, being steady and smooth are probably 2 of the biggest compliments I can give you, because he's shifty, but it's not out of control. Like he is so smooth and so in control. And I mean, you see Luka, who's not that fast, that is in control.
And Brunson, like, look at the point guards in the league. It's not typically the blow you away athleticism guys that are dominant at the point guard position. It's this guys just they control their pace, they process quickly. Processing is, I think, the biggest thing for any point guard and it's hard to scout. So he plays at his own pace. He gets to his spots. He can hit a bunch of shots on the floor. He's a great playmaker. Decent size at 6'3". He's only a sophomore too. And that's going to be another knock on him come draft time is, he's a sophomore. I'm like, does that year make a difference? I don't think it does. And no, he doesn't have that athleticism that's going to make you say, oh, he's obviously a star. But watching him, I see
he's
a long career in his future.
Yeah.
And I think there is still some upside as far as a high-end star. Like, could he be Jalen Brunson? I wouldn't bet on that, but he could.
Well, the guy that I kind of got vibes of, and obviously take this with a grain of salt, because he's not this guy. This is just who I saw. He looked like De'Aaron Fox when De'Aaron Fox was at Kentucky. Not the speed, but like the slender build, always in control. Like, I think De'Aaron Fox is the best guy of when you're talking pure speed. Like, that is De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox is pure speed, but still can get anywhere he wants on the court if he has to. But the way I was watching him, you don't really know what to guard with him, because he has a beautiful shot and it's quick too. So like, if you give up the shot, you're screwed, because heck, he's shooting at 43.5% like from 3. So like, if you give up a shot, 4 times out of 10 you're screwed. So like, I just don't, you can't really guard him very well, because A, he can get by you. B, he can just shoot over you. And the other option is he's going to pass right where the double team comes off of, or whoever he just switched with. So like, and obviously this helps a lot when you have a guy like JT Toppin, who I don't see really as an NBA guy because he cannot shoot
really
whatsoever.
He can't shoot. He's a little undersized. He's an upperclassman. I think he'll end up somewhere based off production alone. But it's kind of the Broom vibe you get.
Yeah,
like, all right,
but Broom could at least shoot a little.
Debatable.
A little. He had a better shot, at least. Let me
I think Broom shot the ball more.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's like when they said Walker Kessler, like a pro for him in the draft was, he's willing to shoot the three, therefore he can develop that. I'm like, he shot 15% from three. He shouldn't be shooting the three.
He's not good. No,
stay in the paint, dunk the ball.
Yeah, do what you're big. But JT Top is 6'9". You have to be able to shoot the three to make it in the NBA at 6'9". Well, yes, that's nice, but
back to Christian Anderson, he will go late first round, maybe early second, and I understand why. The reason, like, you can take the fact that he's around is why you take wings early in the draft. Going through college basketball teams, you find the best player on basically every team is their point guard. It'll be a guy 6'3" or below, pretty small, but super productive. They make everything happen on the court. There are so many point guards available for you to get in the draft, or even after the fact. We've seen guys like Jose Alvarado come in as undrafted guys and be productive day one. A lot of guys are just ready to play. Fred VanVleet. Like, you can find guys. So can you find wings that are going to be invaluable early in the draft? And then you can take a Christian Anderson late first and be like, this guy could be a starting point guard. That guy can happen. But right now, with the way the league's going, you can only have room for maybe 2 point guards on the roster. 2 or 3, like, in the 2 max in the rotation. Like 3 max for the roster. So there's not that many spots, but guys can break through and be pretty productive. I think Christian Anderson will last in the league. He checks every box you want from a starting point guard. At the next level, would he be the main guy on a team? Maybe. Probably not.
No.
But his shooting will get him on the court of, like, you can play him next to a star, and he'll make the right play, and he'll defend. He's averaging 2 steals a game. He's a solid defender. Not against Arkansas, but typically a decent defensive team.
Yeah. Well, and I told you, I said as much as, because I'm not an Arkansas guy, but as much as I haven't really watched them, I was kind of shocked because I knew the guys on their team. And I know that some of them have some NBA buzz, but a lot of it's more like we see the potential, but we've never really seen the production match that. And I think that's mainly with guys like Trevin Brazile and stuff like that, because he's an older guy.
Yeah.
I would take him over JT Toppin, despite the fact that JT Toppin had a much more successful
Brazile
college career, because Brazile can shoot.
I think Brazile will be a preferred two-way signing for somebody, for sure.
Yeah.
Upperclassman, he's like 6'9", 6'10".
He's the same size as JT Toppin.
Yeah, he's athletic and shown over the course of his career to be able to kind of guard pretty much on the perimeter and the post, whatever you need to do, and do the dirty work, setting screens and rebounding. I could see him carving out a role in the league. He's never improved into being like a super productive college player. He had a great game against Texas Tech. But, yeah, and he's most likely, like, I get major Dwight Powell vibes from him, which sounds like a knock.
It's better than Dwight Powell.
I don't think Dwight Powell's had a 10-year NBA career, though. Like...
That's because Luka loved him.
The Mavericks
Luka
still
loved playing with Dwight Powell.
He was predates Luka. He was there before Luka. Dwight Powell,
he just should have never. No, it was Maxi Kleber that Luka loved.
Kleber, who also predates Luka. But like those guys have lasted because they play hard. They're decently athletic. Brazil's kind of that way. I kind of could see him lasting for a team.
I think maybe this is a better statement. He's more athletic than Dwight Powell, in my opinion.
I don't know. No, Dwight Powell was very athletic before he got hurt.
But now the Dwight Powell that still plays in the NBA
the Dwight Powell that's playing right now should not be in the NBA.
No.
But I cannot get that vibes. And like, that's not me making a knock on Brazile. That's me saying, here's an NBA player that I think is very similar to a legitimate NBA player who's had a legit NBA career.
Yeah.
That could be Brazile.
He's shooting. I think the biggest thing for him is, can these percentages hold up? Because at this moment right now, he's shooting 51, 40 and a half, and 81 from the free throw line, which with college, I typically look at the free throw percentage as a bigger indicator of, can they actually shoot the ball? A lot of these guys, sometimes you look at some guys, for instance, like a Nate Ament, you look at their efficiencies and you're like, oh, dear Lord, they cannot shoot the ball. But then you look and he's 81% from the free throw line. So you're kind of like, okay, we have something to work with here. But if he was shooting 60% from the free throw line, I'd be like, no, shot ain't there. But I think that is the thing. Trevor Brazile, I think will, if he can continue doing what he's done his entire college career, which is hustle and defend at a higher level than most of the players on his team, I think he can carve out a role. So sorry for the Dwight Powell slander. I apologize. I can't stand Dwight Powell.
I'm not going to disagree with any Dwight Powell slander. It was Brazil's better than Dwight Powell. I don't,
fine, you're right. My bad.
Game.
I know there's levels to the game. I'm better than Dwight Powell.
Dwight Powell cook your rear end, even if you were 6'9".
If I was 6'9", I would hopefully be playing basketball somewhere.
China, maybe.
I would love to be 6'9". No, I wouldn't go that far. I'd probably go more like Mexico. Just let me go play somewhere in Mexico.
Yeah, like DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah. Me and Boogie. Great one and two man combo.
You and Boogie would get along.
No, we would not. I don't think I've ever liked Boogie.
Okay. It'd go one of two ways. You'd be best friends or mortal enemies with Boogie.
There you go. Yeah, there is no in between with that.
There's no in between on that.
But yeah, and also I did want to shout out Carter Knox too, because I thought he had a really good game in that Texas Tech game. He's interesting. He's 6'6", 220, so he's bigger weight-wise than both Brazile and JT Toppin, but he's obviously a little bit more shorter. He is kind of more of a forward, like a wing size, in my opinion. Maybe like a big
which means
two-guard.
You should take notice of him. He's a wing, good athleticism, highly recruited.
He also shoots 54% from three.
So far, he didn't shoot that at all last year.
No, I think that is
got to keep seeing that.
We'll see, but
I don't think he hasn't been super productive. I don't think
his stats really don't wow you. I mean, almost 10 points per game right now. No, about 5.5 rebounds per game.
Yeah, 8 points, 5 rebounds. Not great efficiency. He's fine.
But this year he started out a little hotter.
Kevin Knox's brother. Yeah, but I wouldn't draft Kevin Knox's brother. He also spells Carter with a K. That's another downside to him.
I knew you were going to come at the Carter with a K part. I didn't know he was Kevin Knox's brother, but I will say this. I remember when Kevin Knox came into the draft, I was like, I love Kevin Knox. That was probably one of my worst prospect takes, because I just saw the shot and I was like, there's no way that fails. And I remember miserably.
In college, I had a Knicks fan as a roommate, and he talked about Kevin Knox a couple times. He said Kevin Knox really kind of came into the summer really playing well and looking like, all right, this could be a dude coming forward. And then this was Zion's first summer league. Zion just ripped the ball away from him. Kevin Knox fell on the ground, and Zion just full windmill jammed it on his head as he was on the ground. And Kevin Knox never recovered.
No,
that was the end of his career. He lasted a couple more leagues in the year, but he was done. It also didn't help having David Fizdale as your coach early in your career. That's never a good thing.
Yeah, and again, with a lot of guys, situation, especially in the NBA, is very indicative on if you're going to be good. Because moving on to a guy like Nate Ament,
the transition, he
has to be in the
segue.
It's a phenomenal segue because, geez, I told you, it's a good thing I started with Nate Ament's footage and ended on a high note with Steinbach. I tried so hard to find nice things to say about Nate Ament. I don't even think he's the second best player on his team as he's playing right now. The stats, he has decent counting stats on the season. He's almost 16 and a half points per game, 7 rebounds, almost 3 assists. But and I'll just say this: the last 5 games since they started playing real teams with the Rutgers, Houston, Kansas, Syracuse, if you count them as a real team, and I don't even remember who the other team was. Oh, Illinois. They're 2-3 in that span since they started playing real basketball teams. He is shooting 31% from the field, 30% from 2, by the way. That's not just all bad 3-point shots. That's 30% from the 2,
He's
anywhere inside.
Incredibly awkward around the basket.
It's unfortunate.
Low IQ. You watch him pump fake and you're like, okay, pump fake, go to the other side. No, he pump fakes and then goes straight back up and just gets swatted.
Yeah. And he rebounds it fine for his size, but he turns it over at a ridiculous rate for a guy that does not have the ball in his hands every time down the court. In the last 5 games, he has 12 assists to 15 turnovers. in the last 5 games since they started playing real basketball teams. That is horrendous. Um, and I sit there and I'm watching it. The off ball defense is heinous. I'm shocked. I am shocked that I'm blanking on Tennessee's coach name right now, but I'm shocked that he does not get
Rick
pulled.
Barnes.
Rick Barnes.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that Rick Barnes does not pull him after some of these horrendous. Like he's ball watching so much that he gives up open threes every time.
He must be ADD or something, because I can say that because I'm ADD, but yeah, I just watch him and he's watching the ball and then he just kind of just starts walking towards the ball.
Yeah.
He's a wanderer defensively.
Yes.
And it's bad. And I'll say this in defense of him. Most of the problems, and there are many, fixable things.
Yeah.
It's not like you see there have been moments of, I think the upside is still there. He's had moments, especially like the Rutgers game, he looks really good in.
Yeah.
Getting to a shot and shooting the ball well. His on-ball defense is pretty solid. He moves well for his size, but he's awkward. Mental errors.
Yeah. I literally wrote for the defense. I was like, he looks a step slow, and I don't know if that's IQ issue or athletic issue or a scheme issue. That's literally what I wrote. I was like, he just looks slow.
He's not explosive. I think there people are making the Risache comparison for him. I don't. And I'll say this. I watched Risache in Europe. It looked kind of similar to this. So there's a world where this works out. I also can see.
I think it is
Reddish
situation
outcome.
dependent.
Yeah. I think, to me, I could see a Zion Williams outcome to this.
I was trying not to make that comparison because that's just going to sound like a mean Grizzlies fan, but he looks like Zaire.
The shot, his elbow comes fully in on his shot, which again, fixable. That is what I like about him. Is the problems I see, I know what the fix is. Yeah. So there's that, but that's a lot to deal with, and I'd rather, if you're drafting a guy that you have to fix a bunch of things with, it means they're not getting better in the areas that make them elite, right? When you take a guy that's NBA ready, that can be on the court right away, that has solid enough in every aspect, then they start becoming elite in certain aspects. Like I look at Desmond Bane, look at Jalen Brunson, guys that were ready to play. They were good at everything, maybe not great at a lot of stuff. All right, then they started figuring out how to use the things they were good at to improve those and become elite, and leverage those traits to become elite players. This guy has to fix it, overhaul his whole game. That's tough to develop with that.
Yeah, because I think that's the thing too. Like I'm sitting here watching his tape, and I'm trying to find that thing that I'm like, okay, this is what he does really, really, really well, and this is what's going to get him on the court to like improve and play. I don't see a lot of that. I think he's decent at a lot of things. Like, I think he's a decent ball handler for his size. He's not elite. He does, despite the assist to turnovers that I mentioned, I think he has a decent entry pass, like to get to the post. Like I've noticed he has pretty solid awareness of when they're in the spot, and he can get it to them in the right place. So I see certain things. I definitely think he's going to have to go to a team that A, is patient, but B, lets him go to the G League and kind of work through some of those things, because I definitely do not think he's a finished product. And I don't necessarily know if G League is the right move or if it's stay in college another year is the right move for him. He's definitely, just based on the guys that I have watched so far, especially lottery guys, he looks to have the lowest floor.
Yeah.
Now his ceiling, because like you said, there are things there, so he could have a ridiculous ceiling.
He's 6'9" with legitimate shot making upside. That can guard, so there's some real upside there. I think he's either needs to stay in college or he needs to go to a team that will play him regardless and let him make mistakes and learn the court. Like the Wizards would be, to me, a team like maybe he can develop
or
there.
The
Jazz, like who's just gonna play him? But Jazz just got Ace Bailey. The Wizards are starting to try to win games.
Oh, that's true.
So who's I can see?
Who's?
He kind of reminds me of Clippers if they overhaul things.
They don't have their pick though.
They don't have their pick. Scratch that. He has to go to a team that is either A, going to let him play a lot just to work. He needs more playing time. I just saw a guy that is very unfinished, and he has to improve not only physically, like in strength terms, but quickness. I do not think he's fast enough to play at the next level right now. He doesn't react quick enough to play at the next level right now. And he can get to speed, but like the Wizards played Keyshawn George and Bub Carrington last year. They're not playing well this year because like we've talked about it before. You have to be able to be on the court to develop.
Maybe Maybe the
Right now, I don't
Bucks
see him
if they
being
do
on
end
the
up
court.
trading Giannis.
Maybe the Bucks.
Yeah, if they end up trading Giannis, I could see a world where they definitely take a guy like this.
Would anyone draft like we're comparing him to Zaire Williams, to Kevin Knox?
Honestly, is this mean to say that I think the floor right now is a Zaire Williams and the ceiling is a Ricochet? Because I think Ricochet's had moments right now.
They might be a little higher than Ricochet. I think your ceiling, this will sound crazy because this is another guy I had really low on boards when he was drafted, would be Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson just figured things out. Like, I thought he looked horrible in college. He only played 3 games and he quit on his team.
No, he didn't look good.
So maybe there's a deep,
but more like a Walmart version Jalen Johnson. I'm not going to say he's going to be coming out here with triple doubles.
I wouldn't bet on it, but maybe
I could definitely see. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
There's some late.
I see what you're saying.
Maybe.
With Jalen Johnson. But it's also one of those things too. Like if you and I are sitting here as a GM, and let's say for instance we're middle of the pack, we made the plan but lost, so we're still in the lottery. So you're a team that's obviously sort of in that window of like we can compete or we just need to blow it up type of version. If you're that type of team and you're sitting here and you're on the board and there's Lindenberg from Michigan or there's Nate Ament, I'm going Lindenberg. Because you and I both said, as an older guy in college, what you have to do is either A, steadily improve, check, or B, go to a higher level competition and still produce, check. Because he's gotten better every year, and now he's starting for a Michigan team that's arguably one of the top 5, if not higher than that, teams in college basketball right now. And he's incredible. I mean, he's phenomenal. I think he's actually, his production's up than it was last year at UAB, which is insane.
He's ready to go. I mean, he's 6'9", 240, like good length, and he can shoot. He can finish at the rim really well. He's a good passer. Really well. He defends well. He's super productive anytime he's on the court. Yeah. I mean, would you, if you're a GM, you got to make the bet. Would Nate Ament, and will he develop to be as good as or better than Yaxel Lindeborg?
Yeah, because we're also talking about a guy that's
but I don't think that's likely.
24.
And I think Lindeborg, I think there's a chance he's a real difference maker in the league.
I agree.
If he didn't have that size, maybe not. But man, he's got some really good size.
I mean, he's the same height,
veteran player.
Yeah, they're the same height, and one of them's 40 pounds heavier. And I mean this in the nicest way. 40 pounds could do a Nate Ament a lot of good. He just needs to get a little bit bigger and a little bit sturdier because he does get bullied sometimes.
Yeah.
On the defensive end,
I haven't looked to see where Lindeborg,
because it is one of those things.
But that's a prototypical 4 now in the league. He can just play basketball. And he'll find he'll be really good.
I really like him.
He's good in the system, too, which teams are gonna like.
I mean, you and I preach all day. Finding a guy that knows how to play a role and can just do it and not complain about it. I mean, heck, I loved John Morant. If he could figure out how to just fit in a system and play basketball, we'd be having a very different conversation with the Grizzlies.
The passing is the swing skill for Lindeborg. That's what guys, those upperclassmen in the past, like Obi Toppin was drafted high, Brandon Clark. That's the skill that he has that they didn't have. So could he be a 5-6 assist game guy? Yeah, I think he could. Could he end up having a Draymond Green type, production? I think he could.
Yeah.
There's a world where that happens. I think there's more likely a world where he's a 12-7-3 guy for somebody, but he can play.
That's good production.
That's good production.
I like him a lot, and
he'll be a very good chance. I think he's a Thunder next year.
God, that makes me so sad. I hate
when he could be a Grizzly. Yeah. Like we look at the teams drafting up high. Thunder, Grizzlies, teams that kind of make sense as far as like their modus operandi when making picks.
I'm definitely not like saying right now and predicting anything crazy like him being a top 10 pick. I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think it will happen because 9 times out of 10 now you see a bunch of teams just bet on the upside over than taking the guy that's going to be productive right away.
It'll take a big combine from him. In terms of the
we're going to have to see the athleticism. Yeah. And I do think probably in Nate Ament's favor is, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't Yaxel 24? Is he 23 or 24?
He's like 23.
And then Nate Ament's 19 or 20?
He's 18 or 19.
Yeah. So you're sitting there, and instead of the gamble of in 3 years, it's like in 4 or 5 years, can Nate Ament be anywhere near this good?
Yeah,
So I think that is probably in
and
Nate Ament's favor.
and also for a freshman like Nate Ament, he's still been productive.
Yeah.
Not efficient, not at all, but
No.
productive. 16 points is
Yeah.
nothing to sneeze at, especially for a freshman playing for a top tier team. But the efficiency's not there. Let's segue now to another freshman who has produced even more in a huge way for Washington, and that's Hans Steinbach.
Yeah, it is.
He's like 7'2", freshman. He's averaging. I don't have.
I got him right here. You want?
Yeah, go ahead and read it off.
18 point. Do you want? I'm rounding up, by the way, because he's
That's
at
fine.
17 point. He's at 17.9, so I'm rounding up. 18 points per game, 12 rebounds per game, 2.7 assists per game, 65% from the field. He's technically 66.7% from three, but that's on like either 3 attempts or 6 attempts. It's not many. He does not shoot it very often from three. The thing that does shock me is the 73.5% from the free throw line, because he does get fouled a lot because he's physically imposing the other people. When I first started watching, prior to me looking up his actual height and weight, I was like, oh, he's just completely bigger than everybody else. Like I was sitting here ready to see 7'2", 260 pounds. Like that's what I was ready to see. And then I see 6'11", 220.
Big.
He plays huge.
And we've seen the last few years now, centers, especially not like massive centers like Klingon or Edie, fall a little bit because if they're not shooters, teams don't really know where to put them. And I've kind of been slow to recognize that centers are back in the league. Big guys that can do stuff. We saw Şengün go 16th.
Look at Hartenstein.
Look at Hartenstein. Yeah. I would look at Şengün. Look at Derek Queen this year. He's playing really well. Look at Sabonis years ago. That's who Steinbach reminds me a lot of, was young Sabonis, especially like early Pacer Sabonis, before he was really passable, just grabbing every rebound and scoring it.
Yeah. Because that is how I think that is a lot of his production. Is he's just so much stronger than everybody else. He grabs that offensive rebound and dunks it. I've noticed his layup package is fine. Like he's a pretty consistent guy with the layups. He's gonna need to probably get a little bit more polished as far as like post moves, because as of right now, it's kind of just a dribble, back you down move, try to get a layup. So he'll have to polish that up. But honestly, you're getting a guy with this type of production, as young as he is, you can easily teach some post moves.
When these centers, like, they come out, you're like, well, center's the least valuable position. Center's not the least valuable position anymore. That's probably point guard, because there's just too many.
Yeah.
But we've seen, like, guys who have produced higher than their draft slot have been the centers lately. Queen, Şengün, those type of guys, especially when the production's been there. And
I definitely see him as like you said, a Sabonis, Hartenstein. Like Hartenstein was a guy that it took a couple years. Like he was Clippers, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Wasn't that Hartenstein? Yeah. And Clippers, he was just a guy that he's probably I'd probably say Hartenstein's probably a little more athletic based on what I watched. I haven't watched much of Hans yet. I was too excited, and when I get too excited, I have to take a break because I do love some big old lugs. But I think he's so physically imposing that any team that is center needy, like, let's be honest, like a Rockets right now, they have Şengün and Steven Adams, and they use both of them. Steven Adams is somehow still playing meaningful basketball, despite the fact that I love him to death. We love Steven Adams. He's definitely not the same guy as the OKC and even the first couple years Grizzlies Steven Adams.
As drop coverage has become a bigger thing in the NBA.
Yes.
Right. Rather than switching 1 through 5, is you can drop a center back, and now we know how to actually deal with that and guard with that. Having real centers, even if they're a bit slower, if they can be strong and just being able to dominate the boards, because this is easy stats to work out. If I shoot the ball more than the other team, I have a higher chance of winning. So grabbing rebounds, forcing turnovers, not turning the ball over, that stuff's huge.
It's huge.
Steinbach rebounds like crazy. It's like 5 offensive rebounds.
Suction cup for hands.
And
it's a magnet.
Yeah, great hands. My concern, to be honest, I saw that with Oscar Tshiebwe back in the day at Kentucky.
Yeah.
He was smaller, though.
Yeah, Tshiebwe was like 6'9".
Yeah.
I don't think he was 6'11".
He was like 6'9", 250 with short arms. It just grabbed every rebound. Steinbach, for to be 220 right now, he that is like light on a center side, but he's 18.
Yeah.
He will be 250, 260, something like that come, into his career a little bit. He's He moves well. He's a smart player. Washington is a okay team.
Yeah.
They're like, I think they'll be a bubble team, maybe.
Yeah.
They're probably not a tournament team.
And I have seen he has been a willing passer, which I think that is nice for a big man. It's not always, grab offensive rebound, try to put back, which sometimes I feel like certain centers, I would rather you just put back.
Yeah.
But I think being a center that's also a willing passer is a nice thing. And it's not like he's one of those centers that, 2.7, that's nothing to sniff at. And I also think
college basketball, if you're a good center in college basketball, you should just be scoring the ball. 2.7 assists, they don't run stuff through the center that much in college. No. It's he gets the ball,
go get down low,
score it.
Yeah.
I could easily see him being a 4 or 5 assist a game guy.
I
coming
agree.
to the league.
Yeah.
I think my ceiling right now would be like a Şengün, which that's where I look at. This guy's got all-star potential. He'd be top 10 on my board right now. Would be Steinbach, and I'd be moving Nate Ament, barely, not even top 20 maybe.
I hate to be that person, but we're also, that's like me talking about him in the first 10 games when he hasn't played in the SEC yet. We haven't even seen this man against the SEC. They won a game against Houston. I know every Tennessee fan's probably going to be like, well, we beat Houston. Y'all won against Houston in spite of Nate Ament. Holy moly. Every time I started just skipping to when he was on the court after this game because it was frustrating me. They were so much better when he was not on the court. I can almost guarantee if I go back and watch that entire game and take plus minus, he was a net negative. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. When he was on the court against Houston, they were not good. So I'm nervous to see him play in the SEC because there's going to be serious eyeballs on him when he's playing in the SEC just due to the sheer amount of quality basketball teams in the SEC. And if his only good game comes against the Ole Misses of the world, I'm going to be nervous because I just need to see some semblance of growth, I guess, is for him.
Yeah.
Because with Hans,
I don't need to see him taking over games. I'd find if his raw numbers drop, I want to see that efficiency go up. If he finds a way to just play a role at Tennessee, that would to me move him up. He doesn't need to be the
sadly.
Team.
No, and nor is he. Again, I told you I fell in love with Jacoby. Jacoby Gillespie, and then I fell in love with Carey too, or Carey, I think is how you say his name, Jalen Carey. Just because, granted, the games I was watching, Jalen Carey had 2 20-10 games, so I was naturally,
he's averaging 8 and 6.
Yeah, so I watched him in the one game against Syracuse.
Yeah, he's fine.
The game against Syracuse is where he went off, and poor Nate Ament was 1 for 10 in that game.
And that's why we don't just cherry pick one game to go off on guys or get hyped about guys.
No, because if I had just watched the Rutgers game, you and I'd be sitting here and I'd be trying to tell you he's a top 4 player in that Rutgers game because you saw what you wanted to see.
Ament came into the season as the consensus number 4 guy. He has been firmly supplanted by Caleb Wilson.
Yeah, Caleb Wilson is nice. Yeah,
but I think Caleb Wilson could potentially move into the top 3 and get into that.
And I think that depends on Peterson because I don't know if Peterson's fully healthy yet, so I'm trying to also
still waiting.
Eliminate some of that. But we haven't seen his moments yet.
Yeah, he hasn't had a moment yet.
Yeah,
I mean,
sadly.
This last game, Council took over, and Peterson kind of went to a secondary role again. And
then Peterson didn't even play in the overtime in that game.
No,
because they keep pulling him out, and they see him working on this hamstring and stuff, which is scaring me.
That is scary
a little bit. Yeah, but no, love Steinbach. Sorry, I didn't mean to get back on Nate Ament. I just had so much.
Yeah.
Bad juju to my soapbox for Nate Ament. But Steinbach, I love him, and I'm probably going to tune a little bit more into him because obviously
you are.
We'll see it once. Yeah, I am. Are there any good teams in the Pac-12?
Well, they're in the Big Ten.
Can we go back to the Pac-12? I miss when teams were actually in the Pac-12. I forgot they're in the Big Ten. So
I
will
will
be
see a
tuned in to
matchup
watch
against Michigan.
Which will be when I want to see him.
Right now I have as my championship game, and this will be, again, this is a stretch of a segue, as I have Michigan and then I have Iowa State, and so we're gonna move to Iowa State now.
Yeah, we are. A lot to talk about.
Ooh, man, they could guard. You just look at the stats for this team right now. For years now, they've had the same guys, and they defend like crazy. That's always been their thing. Offensively, they have the best offense in the country right now. They're shooting 55% from the floor as a team,
which is
43%
ridiculous
from
in college
3,
basketball.
43 or 44% from 3. They don't turn the ball over. Their turnover
because they
differential,
turn you over.
Yeah, they have a -9 turnover differential. They have 9 fewer turnovers than their opponent every game.
And they've played some teams. Like, that's not just them playing
teams,
nobody.
and they just beat the snot out of teams. And there are 4 guys on that team that I view as like NBA players next year. 2 I view getting drafted for sure, potentially in the top 14. So I'll start in the bottom end. Tamin Lipsey has been there for years. He's a smaller guard. He's averaging 3 steals a game. He's tough. He can make shots. He's not shot the ball super well. He's also had some injury concerns over the years. I view him getting a 2-way deal just because of the defensive impact he can provide while still being competent. Joshua Jefferson has been one of the best players in the country this year. He's another senior, decent-sized forward. I think he's 6'7" or 6'8", and like 220 pounds. Hey, you give me a look anytime I name a guy with that height, but it is what it is.
You can call him at least go 6'6.5".
We can't avoid it. We gotta own it. We gotta just own that. We can't let the middle schoolers win.
I'll say 6'8" if there's that size. They're just gonna get an extra inch from me from now on.
But yeah, Jefferson's averaging 17.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 1.5 steals, and 0.7 blocks, while being super efficient as well. I think he'll get drafted in like the second round, potentially or late first. The guys, though, that to me, NBA teams that have to be high on boards right now. First, we'll start with Milan Momcilovic. He's a junior now. He's been starting for them since he was a freshman as this great shooter at 6'8", I think.
Yeah, he's bigger.
And like probably not a super impactful defensively, and he's helped by playing on that team. But he's getting up about 8 3-point attempts a game for them and shooting 53% from 3. That is who he is, a flamethrower out there. Like, he gets attempts, and this is consistent. You look at his last few years, he's a 40+% 3-point shooter. This guy will be able to shoot in the league, and he's long. We've seen Duncan Robinson have a big impact for the Heat and now for the Pistons. This is him.
Is he as bad of a defender as Duncan?
It's kind of the same way where I don't think he's a great defender, but he's played defensive systems because he's long. You can put him out on guys. I think he might have more upside defensively than Duncan Robinson, but that's the level of shooter he is. And
that's absurd.
He's a guy. He'll find his way potentially in the lottery. I know he's a junior, but he's steadily improved year after year.
Definitely first round.
With good size and with that 3-point shot, you get... Like, that's impactful. If you have that kind of shot and are able to stay on the court defensively, there's something there. The guy I think will be a lottery pick is Killian Torre. He is a freshman. He is 6'4" with a 6'9" wingspan, guard. He's averaging about 12 points a game, 4 assists, 2 steals. He has been the primary defender for this team.
Yeah, he puts people in witness protection program.
He put Bennett Sturts in jail. He is a nasty defender. He's from France. But, I mean, you see a freshman defending at this level in college basketball. And he shoots 39% from 3, by the way, too. Like, he has made an impact there. Like, you got to take notice of, especially with the NBA is a copycat league. The Thunder have been dominant. What the Thunder do is nasty perimeter defense. Mm-hmm. This is what this guy does.
Yep.
And he does it really well. I think your best comparison, like, this is why I think Iowa State's a team to look at. They are the most similar college team to the Thunder in terms of how they play. They play super efficient offensively, where they're just moving the ball, don't turn the ball over, get good shots, shoot the 3. Everyone can attack on that team. Super, lots of ball pressure, try to force turnovers, just get after teams and make them cry. And that's what they do. And he didn't just do that against Bennett Sturts. He did that against Braden Smith, too, who is, I mean, at the time, that was a number 1 Purdue team. And, Braden Smith was in conversation to be wooden guy. And that's not a knock on Braden Smith. This is just how elite of a defender he is. And I mean, granted, this is a whole team defense type thing too. Like, this is definitely, I wouldn't necessarily look at this team and be like, they play through one guy in particular, because they don't. They play a system, and that system works. I'm blanking on that coach's name, but he is a great college basketball coach. Yeah, he's done what great program that he's built there, and just culture he's built. You'll see all 4 of those guys. I'm confident you'll see in the NBA.
I agree.
And there's more guys on the team that can really defend too. I'm not going to touch on Blake Buchanan or whoever else they got.
Yeah, no. I mean, you made me get excited. I mean, I knew that dude was a flamethrower. I didn't know he was shooting above 50% on 8 attempts. That's unreal.
He is.
That is some production.
Yeah, and it's just the way they play is the new NBA style. That's been the new wave. So look, that's a team. Look at them. These guys could. We know how they translate. Torre will not. I don't think Torre will be a star by any means. I don't think he's got. He doesn't have a ton of offensive game. He can hit open shots. He takes the right play, but he'll affect the game. You could easily see an Alex Caruso comparison to him as far as the way he impacts the game defensively. So again, Thunder are going to be picking the lottery if those big names are off the board.
You could totally see them getting this guy. Yeah,
I could totally.
Because aren't they going to have like two lottery picks?
Depends on the Jazz.
I know it's definitely one. Yeah.
They have the Jazz's pick top 8 protected. I think that's the protection on it.
Yeah. And then I know they have Clippers, which...
But yeah, if you see other teams that they have their star, maybe Torrey, because he's not a star, goes a little bit later, like mid-first round, if he comes out at all. But you could... It's a defined NBA championship role for him already in the league. I think he's ready for.
And I think that's the second freshman guard that you've mentioned, because that Houston kid who he steals it at a high level, and goodness, so obviously in my Nate Ament watch, I went back and watched their last 5 games, the condensed games. Fleming's in that second half.
Yeah. No.
I don't have his stats in front of me, but I like him. I don't care if he's small or smaller. He's bigger than me, so I can't act like he's small. But he's also a guy that he was on my board because you had mentioned him already. But once I went back and I watched him play a little bit more now, I like him a lot. So I think between the guards that probably should be in the top 20 picks, because I think you already said it with Christian Anderson, a guy we talked about, just a few minutes ago. He probably won't go in the lottery just because he is smaller. And he probably doesn't defend it at as an elite level as those other two guys. And there's also so many guards versus not so many wings and centers that he won't be picked very high. I think those two guys, that Fleming's and then Torre, right? And then how you say it?
Yeah.
Those two guys will definitely be top 20.
For sure.
At worst. You're
20. Looking for elite perimeter defense right now. I think there's going to be an arms race in the league. We saw the Grizzlies drafted this past year. Right, they went and got dogs. Jemai Mayshag. No one had any thought was going to get drafted. Take him with the last pick of the draft.
Yep. Well, even the run at the beginning of the draft, you saw every team draft defensive wings, guys that can shoot it and defend. I mean, Cedric Coward was on no one's board until later in the process. Everybody was like, "Wait, Cedric Coward actually might be going top 10."
Yeah,
and obviously he ended up going top 10. And both the Grizzlies and the Thunder.
No, he went 11th.
He was 11th. My bad. Either way, we're still talking. This is a guy that nobody even knew of, and all of a sudden,
Carter Bryant,
teams are trying to trade up for him.
Wasn't productive at all in college, but they were like, "Well, he can shoot and he can defend, so he can play."
Yeah.
So we'll take him.
He's been fine. He's not been incredible.
He's fine. He averaged 6 points a game in college. What do you expect?
Yeah. And I think with the Spurs team, they're probably just looking for a guy that can you make 35% of your corner threes, and can you defend? Because Wemby and De'Aaron Fox
at this point are just looking for 3. Yeah, the Spurs are just looking to add 3D guys at this point.
So Carter Bryant's honestly not a crazy pick for them, because we don't need somebody to be extremely productive. Just be athletic and defend. Yeah. Which thank the Lordy for the Spurs. I'm going to say that one time and one time only. Thank you for beating the Thunder. Thank you for beating the Thunder. But no, basketball, I'm getting more excited as we go, because obviously competition is just going to keep increasing. We're going to start seeing teams for kind of who they really are, and we're going to start seeing some of these players kind of emerge as stars. I think we're seeing that with Christian Anderson of the world. Hans, I'm excited for. I'm ready to see him play.
I hope Washington makes
solid
the tournament
teams,
so we can see him. Some big games.
Yeah,
they got handled pretty easily by Baylor, so I'm going to assume they're probably not.
All right, this is how you know about them a lot, because you watched that whole Baylor.
Yeah, and they're not great.
Was it
Steinbach's?
Was it before or after?
Real, but,
was it before or after the Tigers game, the Baylor Washington game?
It was before.
So y'all
we beat
were
them
on a
early
good
in the
vibe.
season. Yeah.
No, but and also on the flip side, like I think both Mikal Brown and Nate Ament are really, really struggling and need some higher level competition success to kind of boost their stock back up to what it was coming into the season. Yeah. But I mean, that's how basketball works. I mean, it is definitely.
We'll see what they do. They can either choose to go another year in college if it doesn't pan out, or what they'll probably do is just rush off to the NBA and just take their lumps. This is what most prospects do: is I'll just go back. I'll just go into the league and I'll figure it out there, which I think is actually a better path. We saw DJ Wagner stay in college, and he will never be drafted. That was a bad call from him. Especially, it was a horrible call to stay with Calipari. It was what he did. That's not been a fruitful partnership there. He has
no. He's not very. He makes 1 or 2 plays a game, and that's about it. And you're just not gonna, especially when you're not even the guy that people want to talk about off of Arkansas.
Not even one of the top 3 guys.
No, I can name you 4 other guys that I have a conversation about before.
Notice we didn't touch on it when we were talking about the Arkansas-Texas Tech game. We didn't even mention their 2 freshman guards who are going to get picked in the top 20.
Yeah. No, and that's the problem. If he did stay in college, it probably would have been better for him to go elsewhere. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited because obviously I think we're a couple weeks away still from conference play actually starting.
Well, Big Ten has started conference play.
Big Ten has, but I think SEC starts in January. If I remember correctly, I think it's the first week of January.
Most conferences start in January.
Yeah. So got 2 more weeks, and then we'll start seeing some real high level basketball, hopefully, and see some guys either fall or keep impressing. Because I mean, if Dybantsa and Christian Anderson and Steinbach and Iowa State's whole team and Boozer. Like, if all these guys keep doing what they're doing right now against high-level competition, I mean, goodness. Because, I mean, we talked about it at the beginning of this whole process. Like, this draft is loaded. And you just can't, you just got to make the right move. Because I think there's a lot of game changers in a lot of good ways. Obviously, not everybody's going to be an all-NBA level player. Obviously, there's got to be role players, too. So, I think we have that in this draft. But transition a little bit to kind of close out. We'll hit on this Heisman. And I will say this, we Jared and I, as the NFL, you start seeing teams kind of get eliminated. We're going to probably start coming in with a little bit of team need type dynamics. For instance, if you're a Saints fan, I think you got your quarterback, or at least a guy that can be a decent quarterback in the NFL
next year.
Yeah, which that's a good thing. So now you're going to be probably going to this draft all right, what else do we need to fix to make this team work around this player? I think offensive line's decent, need more playmakers, especially if Alvin Kamara can stay healthy anymore. Chris Olave has had his best statistic season, I think, to date. He's been a top 10 wide receiver this year statistically. So just pairing him with another guy to take some load off of him and getting a running back to make a run game work. I know you were getting excited about Audric Estime, but I think this is his second team already.
He made 2 plays. Their leading rusher was
and Devin Neal, and I like Devin Neal.
I like Devin Neal.
Yeah. And I like Devin Neal, but Devin Neal's a second RB. Yeah, they need more. So things like that. So we'll probably come in. I think we might try to do some mock draft type stuff, team mock drafts, but we'll probably start doing that more and more because obviously teams are getting eliminated. And we'll be able to kind of hone in more on what this top of the draft, NFL draft will look like. Because
and the I will say there is starting to settle out, and we'll start getting a good idea of who's there, who's staying in college,
who's actually going. Yeah. Because I think the one QB I'm still looking for will be Dante Moore. If Dante Moore comes out, I think he's instantly my second QB minimum. So if he comes out, I'd be curious to know about. So we'll get a lot more information, I think, in the next couple of weeks, especially for college football and the NFL draft, because I think there's a big game coming up for number 1 overall pick implications. I believe the Giants and Raiders play either next week or the week after, which as of right now, you're looking at a process where if the New York Giants, who do have the number 1 pick right now, if the Giants are going into the draft with the number 1 pick, they're not taking a quarterbacks. There's definitely we just have to jump the Las Vegas Raiders to get our quarterback, i.e. the Jets or the Browns even. I think the Browns probably should run it with another year. Shador is very inconsistent right now, but they don't have a guy outside of Harold Fannin and David Njoku. Jerry Jeudy has not consistently been a good wide receiver in the league to help a quarterback.
Yeah, he screwed over Shador with that one of those interceptions. Just letting the ball bounce right off his chest.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, the Browns have 2 running backs that I think are solid enough to be a running back duo in this league, in Judkins and Dylan Sampson. They have 2 really good tight ends, and you could probably move Harold Fannin to a slot and have both of them on the field at the same time. You just need a productive wide receiver to help a young quarterback. So there's obviously, that's a long-winded way to say that we're coming with more stuff soon. But the Heisman finalists, just because obviously that's relevant, it just happened. Fernando Mendoza wins the Heisman in probably one of the least impressive Heismans, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think he deserved it. Yeah, I think he deserved it in the sense of who else was there. I honestly told Leah, based on the voting, I was like, I wouldn't even had Pavia at 2 on my voting. because you lost
I had him
two
fourth
biggest games
out
of
of
your
those.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he was the least in, like, yeah, you had crazy stats, but you also lost the only 2 games that could have helped you get in the playoffs. But like, and I think what's funny is, this is soapbox material for me, and I apologize, but people want to talk about him as the number 2 Heisman guy. Arch Manning had a better year than him and beat him head up. But Arch Manning started so slow that nobody wanted to talk about him again. Like, I just, this Heisman was a joke this year, in my opinion. But I think it went to the guy that probably deserved it the most. But as far as NFL we're just gonna talk Heisman guys, because I think Fernando Mendoza, I think it's clear cut.
He'll be the first quarterback, I think, off the board.
He'll be the first quarterback taken, if not number 1 overall pick.
And you see why. Like, he's 6'5". He's got the look, as they say.
The lunch pail guy.
Yeah, scrappy.
Guy you want your daughter to come home with.
Yeah, that kind of look to him. And I don't think he's a superstar by any means. I think personality-wise, we're looking at a Kirk Cousins comparison for him. He's got a corny personality, kind of a brutal guy to listen to, but in a kind of a wholesome way. I think he'd be kind of endearing if he was on your team, if he's playing well on your team. And contrary to Kirk Cousins, Mendoza shows up in big moments. That's something that he's consistently done. So I think he's pretty easily the first quarterback at the board. Not that
he'll be the first one taken.
Yeah.
He'll easily be the first one taken. And I think he's either going to be a Las Vegas Raider or he's going to be a New York Jet.
I could easily see a situation with him of kind of a Darnold or Daniel Jones type arc where he's not great early on, but he'll develop into a solid quarterback if he gets into a good system.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think a system quarterback's a knock on people. I think some guys just need, if you're good enough to get the ball to playmakers, that's what some quarterbacks are. There's so few like difference-making quarterbacks that, you shape everything around. There's like maybe 5 or 6 in the league that are like,
yeah, I was going to say, I was literally trying to think, and the only one that kept popping in my head is Josh Allen. Like, you're not getting Josh Allen out of this draft.
Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, Burrow.
Even though Mahomes get better soon, and he obviously couldn't do it all this year, but get better soon, Micah Parsons.
Mark my words, you will hear next year from Tony Romo on a broadcast, hey, if Patrick Mahomes doesn't go down, are we talking about a 4th Super Bowl for the Chiefs? Completely ignoring that they were going to miss the playoffs regardless of whether that happened or not. Because technically they were still alive when he got hurt.
Yeah.
Like the slimmest of hopes.
Yeah, they did not have a playoff chance.
You will hear that from Collinsworth or Romo next year. But there's not many, and I think with Mendoza, he can be good. So
yeah, he's just consistent. You can't argue the winning aspect because he's won ball games. While they've only not played, just the leadest of talents every single game, but they win, and you can't knock a winner. I think he's consistent enough, and I think he's accurate enough that he's going to be fine. And I think at the end of the day, more often than not, I would be shocked to know that he did not work out for whoever drafts him. I think that's the thing. I think you kind of know what you're going to get. And I would hope he goes to the Raiders.
Indicative of the team him failing would be the team didn't do a good enough job putting a good team around him.
Correct. Which is why I kind of hope he goes to the Raiders, because I have more hope that they might actually have players, because you have Brock Bowers and you have Genty. The Jets do not know how to draft.
The Jets have Aaron Glenn, though, which I think is a plus.
Pete Carroll will not be at the Raiders next year. There's no way.
True.
There's no way.
But I have no faith in the Raiders making a good coaching hire. So
I don't either.
To me, Mendoza screams Jets.
He does scream Jets. So if you want him to be a Jet, you have to root for the New York Giants to lose to the Raiders. Because if the New York Giants beat the Raiders get number 1 pick, and obviously they're not trading out of that. And they could fall in love with Dante Moore if Dante Moore does come into this draft. Because I do think Dante Moore is more fun.
I would go Mendoza seems like a Jet. Moore seems more like a Raider. Moore or Simpson both seem more like Raiders than Jets. Yeah. So I don't know. There's no quarterback to me that makes me, jump up and be like, that's the dude. That dude's going to be awesome.
Not in this class. And that's the thing. I think this class is so good defensively and wide receivers. Like, I don't love it necessarily offensive line. There's a couple of really good offensive line, but definitely more development guys offensive line wise. And that'll also be indicated more by who goes back to college and who actually comes into this draft. This class defensively is absurd. Obviously, there weren't any defenders in the Heisman, despite the fact that there probably should have been one in Jacob Rodriguez. I don't know where he'll go, but moving Pavia, because obviously Pavia has been the biggest, I guess, talking point with the Heisman, because he was mad that his 5'7" turd self didn't get number one Heisman votes.
To me, before we get into just what a D-bag he's been in the F Indiana and, you know, screw this
They're
guy.
playing for a championship, dude. You're playing in the... Whatever,
you're in the Pop-Tart Bowl, which is its own championship. But
wait, they're in the Pop-Tart Bowl?
I think so. It's them in Iowa, I believe.
Man, I was hoping it'd be somebody that could beat Vanderbilt.
But we saw the side-by-side picture of the Heismans. Mendoza's listed at 6'5". He's probably a little bit shorter than that. Like, he's like 6'4", 6'3". But Sayan is 6'1", Love is like 6'1". Pavia is listed at 6 foot, noticeably shorter, like a cup, like 5 or 6 inches shorter than them.
If
like,
he's 6 foot,
5'7", 5'8".
Yeah, if he's 6 foot, Fernando Mendoza is 6'8".
Yeah, and Sayan and Love are both
6'5". And they're not.
Jeremiah Love is 6'5" then.
Dude, if he's
6'5", he's going number one
running back
overall.
Prospect. Yeah, he is. I do believe he'll be a top 20 pick.
I think so.
I think there is no world where he falls below top 20. And I look at teams like the Chiefs, Vikings. If the Cowboys don't bring back Javonte Williams, Cowboys, Saints. If those 4 teams have a chance to draft Jeremiah Love, I could totally see a world where they do it. Because I think he is an elite level running back. But Pavia, because obviously now all the talk's going to be, can Pavia go to the NFL? No. The answer is no. I wholeheartedly believe that the last small quarterback we saw get drafted and have a chance taken on is Bryce Young. I do believe we're not going to see that happen very often anymore.
We saw,
because you've seen how hard it has been for Bryce Young.
And Kyler Murray, for that matter, too.
Yeah. It's just not working out for small
It's not working out.
Like,
and those guys were better players in college than
Correct.
Pavia was.
I think Pavia as a player is fun. He wins. He's got, all the crazy antics that come with that. He has won, and he has consistently won. I look at him, if he gets drafted, some team took a chance in the 6th or last round of the draft, or he's UDFA. Yeah.
I think a team will take a chance because of the production. Be like, you know what the heck?
Yeah, let's try it.
Let's see what happens. But also, he's a guy that's showing right now he'll be a distraction. Yeah, he's immature. He'll become a distraction of why am I not playing if he gets drafted to your team. And
I definitely see a world where he's in the USFL or Canadian Football League.
Yeah, that's a thing. Being a distraction is something NFL teams will not.
Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders was arguably a top 3 quarterback in that draft, and he went, 9th quarterback taken?
Yeah.
Maybe less than that, but...
You look at Colin Kaepernick or Tim Tebow, guys who are going to end up with a bunch of media attention on them, but are ultimately backup quarterbacks. It's not worth having them as a backup that, backup quarterbacks don't play ever, except they're break glass in case of emergency, and you're losing games anyway if they're playing. So why would you want a guy that's going to be a distraction when they're not playing? And Pavia is a guy that screams, this guy will be a distraction, and he's probably not a starting quarterback. So why would you want him on your team? So he'll be a Brown, probably, but that'd be the funniest.
It would be funny. I would actually so be here for that.
Pavia just busting shit.
If he was truly, if he was 1 or 6'2", I think we're having a legit conversation of like a Gardner Minshew type vibe. Mm-hmm. Gardner Minshew obviously was not that media big to Pavia's level, but he was kind of a goofier, less mature type guy. And he's been fine as a backup. He's not, I think when it comes to backups, can they win you 500% of the games they play? Like, can they keep you level?
Yeah.
Can they not lose you intentionally?
That's the thing. Pavia, he's capable of doing that.
I think he is.
He's a really smart player. Like, he consistently makes the right reads. We saw last year just rip Bama apart by just making the right play every single play.
Yeah. One of the best play calling games I've seen.
That was masterclass
in a long time. Yeah, they on 3rd down alone they cooked them every time.
That's why I think a team will take a chance is be like, well, he can play in our system because I think he can. He's smart enough too. But
The size will be a real hindrance on him.
Is there any world where he's a quarterback that is good enough to take you to a Super Bowl? No. There's no world where that's the case. So, we've seen teams, rather than take a chance on a running quarterback, bring back Phillip Rivers from the dead to play for them. Are we going to see a Diego Pavia? I don't think so. I don't think we'll see him start a game in the NFL.
It was so much fun to watch Phillip Rivers play football again, but
ooh, that ball!
Some of those first throws, I was like, it looks like he's in pain.
It looked like old noodle arm Peyton Manning, like at the end of his career. Ball is just floating through the air. Rivers always had like a weird throw mechanics.
Yeah.
Ooh, he looked fat too.
Yeah.
But man, hey, that celebration.
My favorite play was him. Yeah. My favorite play was when he snapped the ball and fell down on his drop back. Got up and just dove for a 1-yard sack. The fact that they were in that game is a miracle. Shane Steichen deserves Coach of the Year for the fact that they were in that ball game. The greatest text was in our group text. Me seeing Phillip Rivers throw a pass to Amir Abdullah in the year 2025 is insanity. Didn't even know Amir Abdullah was still in the league.
I was more shocked at that than Phillip Rivers playing. They hands the ball off to Amir Abdullah. What? The guy from 2017?
Yeah.
I mean, he's stuck around practice squads and stuff in the NFL for years now. He's a 32-year-old Amir Abdullah's getting snaps in the NFL.
And I know Amir Abdullah really was a good returner. Like, he was a solid enough returner where you keep him on your team as a returner and then like your third running back brace in case of emergency. But yeah, what a wild week in the NFL. But yeah, we'll be coming with in the future with some more kind of draft-based prospects for specific teams, because obviously the top of the draft is definitely becoming more and more clear with each week. And obviously certain teams are in desperate need of some overhaul. So we'll definitely have a little bit more to talk about as these weeks start progressing in the NFL. And obviously basketball, there's plenty to talk about every week. I mean, we could probably sit here and talk longer.
We'll start coming out also with, I have more time, so I'll have full tape breakdowns of certain players.
Yeah.
As we can react to some game tape of them. We can all see Cooper get really excited watching Hannes Steinbach in real time.
Yeah, we will.
That's
what we're here for. I mean, me getting excited over Rocco Zakarsky will never leave my system.
We can just watch Rocco Zakarsky highlights. He's not a draft prospect anymore, but hey.
No. He's in the league. I mean,
he's in the league.
We can sit there and watch, because technically he gets no playing time, so we can find some highlights of the G League Rocco Zakarsky. If he's playing in the G League. I have no clue if he is. Yeah, I don't know.
But back when he played for the Brisbane Bullets.
Yeah. I do believe that is a wrap for today. Longer one, but I definitely think you're going to probably see more hour and a half range for you and I when we start getting into the real true weeds, which we're getting as the season progresses. We'll definitely get more of that. But Jarrett, hope you have a good one, and I will see you soon. Peace.
Peace out.